NetsBoy, so let's hear what he has to say. His name is NetsBoy, he thinks the world is all over when the Nets just can't play.
What up, Net fans? NetsBoy here. Bring your latest in your not so surprisingly disastrous Brooklyn Nets news. I got a lot to talk about in this episode. There's so much to say and so much I want to just address that I'm going to be honest, I'm probably going to forget everything or forget something and miss it. So, you know, if there's something that I say that maybe you're thinking or feeling, I probably am feeling it the same way. I just forgot because there's just so much to say. And there's a good chance that in future episodes I'm going to bring them up at some point. Just throwing it out there, because if I talk and hit every point of things that I want to say and do in this episode is going to be an hour long. And these episodes tend to go too long as is, so I'm going to try not to let that happen. So, you know, here I go. And I'm sure a lot of you are wondering a lot of things of what this here Nets fan has to say or think about, you know, everything that has transpired over the last 48 hours. And, yeah, so let's do that. Let's just address, you know, the obvious thing, you know, the elephant in the room. And that is Kevin Durant getting traded to the Suns. Look, after Kyrie got traded, you know, I didn't think Kevin Durant was going to want out this soon. I kind of thought that there was going to kind of be this agreement with Sean Marks and the Nets of, hey, we still got a pretty good team on paper. Let's see when you come back from your injury how it looks with, you know, you, Spencer Dinwiddie, Claxton, and Cam Thomas developing the way he is as like the focal points of the team. You know, with Ben Simmons and Dorian Finney-Smith and you know, and all the other players who are so, you know, the team. You know, let's see what this looks like, right? Let's see if maybe we can make a few tweaks and we can move on and maybe still have a chance to maybe make some noise come postseason time. And who knows? Maybe we might shock people. Maybe you might shock yourself. Maybe you've got a chance to change the narrative about you being only someone who just, you know, not being the bus driver. You know, we all know that statement that Charles Barkley said, you know, Kevin Durant's not a bus driver. You know, let's change his narrative, Kevin. Let's make this happen. Right? No. I at least thought he was going to see this through to the end of this year before he decided to throw a hissy fit and a temper tantrum and ask to be traded. I really thought that. But I guess I shouldn't be surprised at this point of anything that transpires regarding any of the Nets players or quote-unquote superstars, because why should I, as a Nets fan, ever have any belief that things are going to go right? Why? What in the history of this franchise would ever make me feel good about this team and this organization? Because the disaster that has transpired these last couple years is only the latest chapter of complete and utter failure that has been this Brooklyn Nets organization. Might I remind you, just 10 years ago, when the Nets went all in on Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Jason Terry. Where did that get this franchise? The farthest a second-round exit. Now, there was a number of factors of why that happened. Brook Lopez got hurt. You know, Darren Williams was a piece of crap. They didn't really have much of a bench. You know, Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett kind of fell off a cliff. There's a number of reasons. But it didn't matter because it was a disaster. And the Nets destroyed their team. to try to go all in and didn't even get out of the second round. That was 10 years ago. But let's go beyond that. And before that, when the Nets traded for my all-time favorite player, Vince Carter. Love Vince. Always will. All-time favorite. One of my favorite Nets, favorite players. I just said that. I know. But I want to emphasize it. I love Vince Carter. Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, Richard Jefferson. All Net fans were like, this is the superstar we needed to put us over the top. We're finally going to get back to being good again. Well, what happened there? Nets could not put a real team around those three players. They relied too much on Vince, Richard, and Jason Kidd, and their next best player was Mikey frickin' Moore. Like, that's what happened. So that team, and what did that team do? Second round exit at the farthest they go in. They end up blowing up that team. Jason Kidd has to be traded. We all know the story. Vince Carter goes and gets traded. Everything all go away. Let's go before that. When this Nets team came off the back-to-back Eastern Conference championships with Jason Kidd leading the way. And every Net fan, New Jersey Net fan, was like, well, we got a pretty good basketball team here. Let's see if they can build. But no. The Nets are like, we see this Kenyon Martin guy as kind of expendable. We don't really need to bring him back, despite the fact that he was and legitimately is our second best player. We still have Jason Kidd, but Jason can figure it out. We will just let him go, and we'll do a sign and trade and get something back for him. That move destroyed the Nets from being relevant because they took them years. Honestly, I would say until they got Kevin Garnett, which I would still argue was not even the case. I would make the argument that when they got Kevin Durant, they had never had another power forward that was relevant since Kenyon Martin, because they just decided to let that go. This team and organization just do stupid things. And the reason behind that was, we have Jason Kidd, we're in New Jersey, even though we're tri-state, we're a small market team because we don't get enough fans. All this crap that I've been hearing from day one, being a New Jersey Nets fan to Brooklyn Nets fan, it's all the same crap. There's always some kind of BS excuse of why this team fails. It's something, it's a vaccine mandate, it's a stupid post, it's a dumb quote, it's a guy getting injured, it's a foot on the line, it's a guy falling off a cliff, it's a broken foot, it's a useless Darren Williams, it's a not wanting to bring in a Kenyon Martin, it's a not putting a team around a Vince Carter and Jason Kidd. There's all these reasons why for the last 22 years this team has failed and failed miserably beyond belief. It just is so clear that this Brooklyn Nets organization and New Jersey Nets organization, the Nets in general, are the GOAT of failing. There is no organization that can fail better and fail more fantastically and in a huge display of disaster than the Brooklyn Nets and the New Jersey Nets prior to that. This is what this franchise is. They are a disaster. They have been a disaster. And there's a number of reasons why. Some are the Nets' fault themselves. Others are not. There's a lot of circumstances, especially these last, we're not going to sit here and nitpick the last 4 years and talk about all the reasons why the Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant tandem, and then James Harden came in, big three. We're not going to analyze why that failed miserably. We could, but I think we all know what happened. Loads of crap. But the reality is, it is the world, the basketball gods, saying what they've been saying for 22 years. You are not allowed to not be a joke. You are the Nets. You must be a joke. You must be the laughingstock of the league. You must fail. You are not allowed to succeed. That is what the basketball world wants from this organization. And you can't tell me otherwise, because I've seen it for 22 years now. It's amazing. It is unbelievable, but it is just fact. And there is no argument that the Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant duo, that signing 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago, whenever the hell it was, I can't even remember now. And what has transpired is the biggest letdown and disappointment and disaster in the history of sports. There is no argument. There has never been a bigger failure than what has transpired for this organization. There's not even an argument. But once again, it's just the latest chapter of failing and disappointment being a Brooklyn Nets fan or being a Nets fan in general. It's just the latest chapter, the GOATs of failing. It's as simple as that. Will the narrative change? I have zero confidence that it will. Zero confidence. I have a little faith because that's the only way I can continue to turn the damn TV on and watch this damn franchise just be a giant piece of crap. The little bit of faith is the only reason why I do it. I don't have any confidence, but I have a little bit of faith. Just to persevere through to even do these NetsBoy episodes because this organization has given me nothing but tears and frustration. And this Kevin Durant trade and everything that transpired prior is just the latest example. I kind of want to talk about the trade now, but I'm realizing that I have a lot more to say and a lot more to talk about when I talk about the trade. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap up this episode now. Because I think I got my point across. The Nets are the GOAT of failing. They're cursed. You know, I don't believe in curses, but sometimes it seems like they have to be real, especially when it comes to this Nets organization. And I will end with this. Despite everything that happened, I don't really think the Nets really regret doing what they did. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I think every team in the NBA would have done what the Nets did with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. The biggest mistake that they made was giving them too much power. But the reality is they had to give them that much power because that was the only way that they were going to lure both of them in, was to give them the key to the franchise. So for those of people saying, oh, it was a mistake or they should have never done it, no. They had to. Once you have interest from a superstar in the NBA, you got to reel them in, and you do anything you can. The biggest mistake I feel like the Nets really made was not addressing the dynamic once they came aboard. Like, once Kyrie Irving started his BS, they should have nipped it in the butt right then and there and said, no, you ain't doing this, Kyrie. All right, you ain't gonna sit out or disappear, and do all these. No. They should have addressed who was in charge from the beginning. But the reality is, once someone is used to something, you cannot change it. If you, for the first 2 years, let Kyrie and KD run the franchise like they did, you can't just magically say, no more, guys. And that's pretty much what the Nets did. They said, no more. We want to make the decisions. And that started putting tension in the relationship, and that's what made James Harden leave. That's what made Kyrie want to leave. And ultimately, it's what made Kevin Durant want to leave. Because at the end of the day, that's who these players were. And as fans, we should have not been surprised that those three guys who have showed zero loyalty in any capacity would bolt at the first sense of problems. Starting with James Harden. I mean, James Harden pretty much sabotaged his career just to get out of Houston and then try to get out of Brooklyn. And now he's trying, he's starting to get a little bit more dignity back with the 76ers. Kyrie Irving literally walked away from a championship team because he felt disrespected. Which he has every right to feel. I'm not going to say he shouldn't be disrespected. I understand every reason why Kyrie wanted out. But you were legitimately a championship caliber team. But look at what he did to the Celtics. Look at what he did to the Cavs. Why should we be surprised? And why should we be surprised that Kevin Durant, the guy who made the weakest move in the history of basketball, would going from the Oklahoma City Thunder to the Golden State Warriors, why should we be surprised that he says, "Ugh, my boy Kyrie's gone. We might have went, 17-2 our last 19 games when I was playing out there, but I don't know, man. This could be a tough matchup for me. This could be tough for me. I don't want to do. I want to go. I want to go play with Devin Booker and Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. That's where I want to go. Why should we be surprised by this? Why should we be surprised by anything? Why are we so stupid? I'll tell you why. Because we are the GOATs of failing. There you have it. Let me know what you guys think about everything. If you agree with me about the disappointments and disasters that's been this organization for years. If you agree with me with everything I just said, comment below, like, share, subscribe. You know all the drills, all the stuff I always ask people to do. Keep your eyes open to the next NetsBoy episode. It'll probably be pretty soon because I do want to talk about this trade that the Nets made with the players they got with Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson and the draft picks and what I actually think this team can accomplish moving forward. I do have a lot to say about that, but if I talk about it now, we'll be here for another 15 minutes. So I'm just going to save that for another episode. So until then, this is NetsBoy. Just simply shaking my head, but also saying, this is what I'm used to. And signing off.
When